Wealth was toted in another way. Having plenty meant free time for sunsets savored from the porch, ripe melons on dewy mornings, and energy for working hard with some left over to hunt or fish. The people I met in deep Cajun country were the same way, at least in their definition of abundance. They would help me determine once and for all what is most important in life: the woods, the water, time before money, friendship, and family before all else. The Cajuns value good music, full bellies, hard work, and each other.
Hello, I'm Gene Edwards and welcome to Writers. It was the British writer Aldous Huxley who said each man's memory is his private literature. This time on Writers, 3 authors on writing their memories. Louis Bourgeois, a poet first, he based his narrative memoir on actual experiences of his working-class childhood in South Louisiana. Ralph Eubanks started to write about the Sovereignty Commission, but found his parents' names in the files. Then it became a personal story. And Rita Grimsley Johnson, after this noted columnist spontaneously bought a houseboat in the swamps in Louisiana, she discovered that what you really need to be happy is simply all around you. Ralph and Rita and Louis, welcome.
Thank you for having us here.
Thank you.
We're going to have a conversation about yourselves.
Oh, I hope we can keep people entertained.
I hope so. But let's start with where all of you started. When you have always been a reader, you've always been a huge reader. Is that what made you want to write? What made you want to be a writer and a poet?
That is a question that I'm constantly asking myself. What am I doing in this business? I've been doing it for 20 years. Reading is something I've always done, but for me, writing was something that I had to do because I simply couldn't do anything else. There was nothing else that I had a desire to do once I got into college and realized, for example, that William Faulkner was someone that I wanted to be, that that was who I needed to be.
Faulkner was one of your influences.
Oh, absolutely. I'd say Faulkner and Eudora Welty both I'd claim as influences because of the way that they looked at Mississippi very clearly, tried to both understand its faults and embrace them at the same time.
And this nice young Baptist girl, when did you know I've got to write?
I always wanted to be a newspaper reporter.
Really?
From the 8th grade on.
Why?
Well, I don't know. My father was a butcher. My mother was a housewife. There were no newspaper people in our family, but I got a little praise from English teachers and started working for the school paper. It's all I ever wanted to do. And by the time I got to Auburn, they said, in journalism, we can teach you to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. And I said, sign me up.
That's for me.
So most of my writing has been for newspapers.
When did you become a columnist, though? When did you decide that you wanted to take that next step?
Well, it doesn't work quite that way. I had done a lot of beat reporting and worked for a lot of small papers, and the Memphis editorial page editor invited the lowliest of the low, the bureau reporters for the Commercial Appeal, to submit columns one week, and I just went back to my office and churned out about 4 and handed them in, and one ran, and
Which was the one that ran?
It was a very personal piece about my father being fired from a large company after being a company man for 30 years, and it resonated at the time. It just hit some nerves, and there was a lot of reaction, so they gave me a column spot in the Memphis paper. This was in 1982, and I've written a column ever since.
Everybody's somehow connected here to Mississippi, to the South, to Louisiana. What brought you to Mississippi?
William Faulkner, essentially. I moved to Oxford 13 years ago for school, but also I wanted to be around the ghost of Faulkner. That was very important to me at the time.